much, Nedluk. My name is Ides Nicaise, and on my turn it's a pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the steering committee of the conference. I'm delighted by the enthusiastic response of all the speakers, the chairpersons, the panelists to our invitation, and also by the great interest of the participants. As you see, this participation is quite high already. I would like to emphasize some aspects of the originality of this conference. I think it has to do with its perspective, with the combination of contributions, and also the variation in inputs. As regards the perspective, I must say I myself have changed my perspective on the issue while participating in the preparation of this conference. In the past, I, as a scientist, tended to concentrate on the analysis of the inequalities in education, and mainly the inequality between, say, immigrants and native students, which is well known as a problem in Flemish education, but also Europe-wide. I concentrated on the causes of this performance gap and on the role of socioeconomic factors and cultural barriers in explaining this gap. While preparing this conference, I must say I learned to adapt, to look at it from a different angle. I have learned to see the ambition and the efforts of the immigrant community to overcome these obstacles in their own perspective, and their desire to take part in building a brighter future for Europe. And this is the aspect of active citizenship. We will proceed during this conference in 3 steps, and each of the 3 main sessions that are on the program takes one of these steps. The first step will look at the issue from a very broad perspective, the link between education and Europe 2020. We all share, as European citizens, a common dream of making Europe a smart, sustainable, and inclusive economy. And it is this broad perspective that also is the background for this conference. What is the place, the role of education in building this Europe? And how should we translate the objectives of Europe 2020 into objectives for the education, including for young immigrant people? The second question relates to the young people from an immigrant background in particular, and how education systems can grant them the full potential to develop their talents. That will be tomorrow morning. And tomorrow afternoon we will focus on the role of civil society, of grassroots organizations in meeting this challenge, and how these organizations contribute to a better integration and a better performance of their students. This is the first originality of this conference. The second originality is the crossing of different angles, the different views. And we have contributions from 4 groups of stakeholders, and I think it will be a very fascinating exercise in mutual learning. There is the perspective of policymakers, and we are very proud to have policymakers from very different backgrounds, including the European Parliament, the European Commission, the European Economic and Social Committee, and also the OECD. And we also have national policymakers participating in the conference and actively contributing. Second, we have academic contributions. Researchers have been asked to report on their recent findings, and I think for researchers it will also be an interesting exercise because they will learn about the pending questions for future research. A third type of stakeholder in the conference are the practitioners, people who do the job in the field. People from schools, from guidance centers, from youth organizations, and so on and so on. They will share their experiences, their struggles, their frustrations sometimes, but also their ambitions and their successes with us. And last but not least, we have the contribution of civil society represented by a host of different organizations, parents associations, but also cultural associations, also employers associations, etc. These representatives from the civil society will share with us how they try to innovate in society, and they will challenge us and the other parties to move beyond our established knowledge, our routine, and our constraints. The third originality of the conference will hopefully consist in the variety of modes of exchanges. We will have speeches, of course, many speeches, but we will also have some audio-visual material. We will have site visits this afternoon, and we will hopefully have plenty of time for debates as well, formal and informal debates within and between sessions. I hope that the conference will be as lively as possible, and I hope for your active contribution. I will not extend in thanking all the contributors, but obviously we are very grateful in the first place to Fedactio and also to Unity, who sponsored this, this conference, to the European Parliament and the Flemish Ministry of Education for hosting the conference, to the crew also for their hard work in preparing the logistics. And I think now I can hand over to Adam Kumshu. But first we will have a look at a short video documentary. I don't know how from the audience you will be able to watch that video. There is a large screen at the back of the room. We also have another one. Okay, so you can look at it from all sides. 360-degree presentation. And after that, Mr. Adam Kumshu from Unity will address you shortly and present you this perspective. I think he was one of the great inspirers of the event because he is chair of Unity, which is the European Federation of Enterprises from a Turkish background. And he came to the idea of linking the issue of the conference, say, improving the educational position of